Anjanashalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamai Yam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Saravaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin iti namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gaurtushe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostude Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radha Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Mancha Kalpataror Vyasya Kripa Sindhu Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Namostute Vyasa Vishala Buddhe Fulara Vindayata Patra Netre Yena Tvaya Bharata Taila Purnaha Prajvalito Jnanamaya Pradipaha Prapanna Parijataya Totra Vaitraika Panaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Gita Duhe Namaha. Okay. Fine. So now we are at verse number 9, I think. Yes. Verse number 9. Chapter 16. The divine and demoniac forces or natures. Etam drishtim avashtabhya nashtatmanalpabuddhayaha prabhavanti ugra karmanaha shayaya jagato ahitaha. Following such conclusions, which conclusions? Which we discussed yesterday in verse number 8. They think there is no God in control, there is no foundation to this world, everything is just born of lust. So following such conclusions, the demoniac who are lost to themselves, which means they are lost souls, they don't have any idea that they are spirit souls, and who have no intelligence, engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. What they do is simply destroying the world. Why they engage in horrible works? Because they don't have knowledge of the self and they don't have any good intelligence. So they engage in works that destroys the world. The Sanskrit word used is ugra karma. Ugra means ferocious or horrible. Karma, work. It means painful, distressful, horrible, and atrocious activities. That's ugra karma. So now can we quickly do a brainstorm of all the examples of ugra karma activities that can be labeled as ugra karma, modern day human activities, which can be categorized as ugra karma. You can either put that answer in the chat box or you can raise your hand. Pollution. Okay. Neha Mataji.
Destroying nature, Prabhuji.
How? Example.
By cutting down trees and grasslands.
Yes. Very good. Heavy cutting down of trees, forests, in order to make places
Buildings.
for industries,
And buildings.
papers.
Industries.
That's ugra karma. Then what next? Wars. Yes, wars. Suicide bombing. Karma. Sureka Mataji.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, terrorism on the name of religion.
Terrorism is ugra karma. Yes, terrorism. Nuclear weapons, ugra karma. Animal slaughter, it's again ugra karma. Seven. Yes, Bhakti Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, gambling.
Gambling is ugra karma. Hoarding, yes, hoarding is again ugra karma. Next, who else is raising hand? No one else. Natural resources, land grabbing, yes, okay. Factories, very true. Factories, ugra karma, horrible work actually.
Prabhuji, what about intoxication?
Industrialization.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, intoxication. Chemicals, use of fertilizers, pesticides, insecticides to very extreme quantities, ugra karma. So many more examples, right, can be given. So they engage in such activities. Srila Prabhupada gives the examples like he says in Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad-gita also. He gives examples of technological advancement also as ugra karma. Cigarette factories, producing different kinds of alcohol, wine, drugs, nightclubs, large-scale industries, or even too much of manufacturing of products for consumers. Ugra karma. Oil extraction, very good. Thank you so much. It's again ugra karma. So these are all actually indirectly speaking demoniac activities because they are harmful to the nature, harmful to the self, making tunnels in the mountains so that you can have your road pass through or the train track pass through. It's again ugra karma. Horrible works. Srinivas Gopal Prabhu. Yes, synthetic clothing, processed food. Srinivas Gopal, are you talking? Have you unmuted yourself? Okay, fine. Let's read the purport here, text 9.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
No, okay, now it's next. We'll read the purport. Navledi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. The demoniac are engaged in activities that will lead the world to destruction. The Lord states here that they are less intelligent. The materialists who have no concept of God think that they are advancing. But according to Bhagavad-gita, they are unintelligent and devoid of all sense. They try to enjoy this material world to the utmost limit and therefore always engage in inventing something for sense gratification. Such materialist inventions are considered to be advancement of human civilization, but the result is that people grow more and more violent and more cruel to animals and cruel to other human beings. They have no idea how to behave toward one another. Animal killing is very prominent amongst demoniac people. Such people are considered the enemies of the world because ultimately they will invent or create something which will bring destruction to all. Indirectly, this verse anticipates the invention of nuclear weapons, of which the whole world is today very proud. At any moment, a war may take place, and these atomic weapons may create havoc. Such things are created solely for the destruction of the world, and this is indicated here. Due to godlessness, such weapons are invented in human society. They are not meant for the peace and prosperity of the world. Hare Krishna.
Next verse. Now, from here begins a new section where we learn about, sorry, I should be showing the full screen. Where we learn about the demoniac nature in detail. So verse number 10 talks about their tendencies and conduct, 11 about their attitude, 12 about their engagement, the activities they engage in, 13 to 15, their thoughts upon gaining wealth, 16, their destination, 17, their hypocritical nature, and 18, their outlook towards Krishna and Krishna's devotees. Very much in detail, Lord Krishna is explaining demoniac nature. So their tendencies and conduct. Kamamashritya dushpuram dambamana madanvitaha mohan grihitvasa grahan pravartante asuchi vrataha. Taking shelter of insatiable lust and absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige, the demoniac, thus illusioned, are always sworn to unclean work, attracted by the impermanent. Dambha, they proclaim themselves as religious even though they are not. Mana, they proclaim themselves to be worshipable even they are not worthy of respect. And Mada, they project themselves as the most elevated personalities, though they have no good qualities. And because of this, they engage in unclean work. Their work is dirty because they are attracted to impermanence. So the demonic mentality is described here. Read the purport. Vidur Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. The demoniac mentality is described here. The demons have no satiation for their lusts. They will go on increasing the insatiable desires for material enjoyment. Although they are always full of anxieties on account of accepting non-permanent things, they still continue to engage in such activities out of illusion. They have no knowledge and cannot tell that they are heading the wrong way. Accepting non-permanent things, such demoniac people create their own God, create their own hymns, and chant accordingly. The result is that they become more and more attracted to two things: sex enjoyment and accumulation of material health. The word ashuchi vrata, unclean vows, is very significant in this connection. Such demoniac people are only attracted by wine, women, gambling, and meat eating. Those are unclean habits. Induced by pride and false prestige, they create some principles of religion which are not approved by the Vedic injunctions. Although such demoniac people are most abominable in the world, by artificial means, the world creates a false honor for them. Although they are gliding toward hell, they consider themselves very much advanced.
Because they're an illusion, they don't know. They think that we are advancing, but they're actually going towards hell. Srila Prabhupada was once told by a person that we are making fast progress. And Shiva said, yes, that's very sad for you because you are making fast progress towards hell. You're going very fast towards hell. That's where you're going. And you are so proud of that progress. So demoniac tendencies and conduct explained here in this verse. Infatuation to material enjoyment and the pride of success in material life forces one to engage in activities that are dirty in nature because of pride and infatuation. Next verse. Now what's their attitude? Chintam aparimeyam cha pralayantam upashitaha kama bhoga parama 𝗹𝗲 iti nishchitaha. They have so much of anxiety. Why? Because they think the only goal of life is to gratify the senses. They believe that to gratify the senses is the prime necessity of human civilization. Thus, until the end of life, their anxiety is immeasurable, because they think the more I get, the more I'll be happy. And this never ends. The desire to have more and more and more and more and more. So they, even when they die in anxiety. Next verse, 12. Ashapash saterbadha kama krodha parayanaha ihante kama bhogartham anyane anyayenartha sanchayan. Bound by a network of hundreds of thousands of desires and absorbed in lust and anger, they secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. So the lesson is, unclean work leads to an unclean mind, and an unclean mind is full of worries and anxieties. And then, because of that unclean mind, they engage in illegal work to earn money. But because that money is earned illegally, that money can never give a person peace of mind. One is always in anxiety, worries, so many different kinds of worries surround that person. Let's read the purport. Anju Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. The demoniac accept that the enjoyment of the senses is the ultimate goal of life, and this concept they maintain until death. They do not believe in life after death, and they do not believe that one takes on different types of bodies according to one's karma or activities in this world. Their plans for life are never finished, and they go on preparing plan after plan, all of which are never finished. We have personal experience of a person of such demoniac mentality who, even at the point of death, was requesting the physician to prolong his life for 4 years more because his plans were not yet complete. Such foolish people do not know that a physician cannot prolong life, even for a moment. When the notice is there, there is no consideration of the man's desire. The laws of nature do not allow a second beyond what one is destined to enjoy. Should I continue, Prabhuji?
Someone else can read the next para. Nagaraj Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Okay, you want to read. Srinivas Gopal. Okay, you read.
Yes, Prabhu. The demonic persons who has no faith in God or the super soul within himself performs all kinds of sinful activities simply for sense gratification. He does not know that there is a witness sitting within his heart. The super soul is observing the activities of the individual soul. As it is stated in the Upanishads, there are two birds sitting in one tree. One is acting and enjoying or suffering the fruits of the branches, and the other is witnessing. But one who is demonic has no knowledge of Vedic scriptures, nor has he any faith. Therefore, he feels free to do anything for sense enjoyment, regardless of the consequences. Hare Krishna.
Next verse. Now, what are their thoughts on gaining wealth? Idam adya maya labdham imam prapsyase manoratham idam astidam api me bhavishyati punardhanam asau maya hata shatrur hanishye chaparanapi ishwaroham aham bhogi siddhoham balavan sukhi adhyo bhi janvanasmi konyosti sadrisho maya yakshe dasyami modishya iti jnana vimohitaha. The demoniac person thinks, so much wealth do I have today, and I will gain more according to my schemes. Such much is mine now, so much is mine now, and it will increase in the future more and more. He is my enemy, and I have killed him, and my other enemies will also be killed. I am the Lord of everything. I am the enjoyer. I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am the richest man surrounded by aristocratic relatives. There is none so powerful and happy as I am. I shall perform sacrifices, I shall give some charity, and thus I shall rejoice. In this way, such persons are deluded by ignorance. In other words, these people are sharks. Shark Tank, have you heard of that show? So that's the mentality. Let us become a bigger shark. And what does a shark do? She does not serve other living creatures in the sea or ocean. She eats them up. That's what she does. So that's the mentality of those who are demoniac. Means only thinking about material success, material progress, material advancement. Eat smaller fishes, yes. Next verse. Aneka chitta vibhranta moha jala samavritaha prasaktaha kama bhogeshu patanti narakesu chau. Thus perplexed by various anxieties and bound by a network of illusions, they become too strongly attached to sense enjoyment and fall down into hell.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. The demoniac man knows no limit to his desire to acquire money. That is unlimited. He thinks only of how much assessment he has just now and schemes to engage that stock of wealth further and further. For that reason, he does not hesitate to act in any sinful way and so deals in the black market for illegal gratification. He is enamored by the possessions he has already, such as land, family, house, and bank balance. And he is always planning to improve them. He believes in his own growth and does not know that whatever he is gaining is due to his past good deeds. He is given an opportunity to accumulate such things, but he has no conception of past causes. He simply thinks that all his mass of wealth is due to his own endeavor. A demoniac person believes in the strength of his personal work, not in the law of karma. According to the law of karma, a man gains his birth in a high family or becomes rich or very well educated or very beautiful.
அந்த பக்கம் நிறுத்த வேண்டிய பேசு பாப்பா.
You can.
Because of good work in the past, the demoniac think that all these things are accidental and due to the strength of one's personal ability. They do not sense any arrangement behind all the varieties of people, beauty, and education. Anyone who comes into competition with such a demoniac man is his enemy. There are many demoniac people and each is enemy to the others. The enmity becomes more and more deep between persons, then between families, then between societies, and at last between nations. Therefore, there is constant strife, war, and enmity all over the world. Each demoniac person thinks that he can live at the sacrifice of all others. Generally, a demoniac person thinks of himself as the supreme God, and a demoniac preacher tells his followers, "Why are you seeking God elsewhere? You are all yourselves God. Whatever you like, you can do. Don't believe in God. Throw away God. God is dead." These are the demoniac's preachings. Although the demoniac person sees others equally rich and influential, or even more so, he thinks that no one is richer than he and that no one is more influential than he. As far as promotion to the higher planetary system is concerned, he does not believe in performing yajnas or sacrifices. Demons think that they will manufacture their own process of yajna and prepare some machine by which they will be able to reach any higher planet. The best example of such a demoniac man was Ravana. He offered a program to the people by which he would prepare a staircase so that anyone could reach the heavenly planets without performing sacrifices such as are prescribed in the Vedas. Similarly, in the present age, such demoniac men are striving to reach the higher planetary systems by mechanical arrangements. These are examples of bewilderment. The reality is that without their knowledge, they are gliding towards hell. Here, the Sanskrit word mohajala is a very significant. Jala means net, like fish caught in a net, and they have no way to come out. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Next verse. Atma sambhavita stabdha dhanamana madanvitaha yajante nama yajnaiste dambhena vidhipurvakam. Sometimes they engage in religious activities, but they don't follow the scriptures. They just do anything they like to do. Self-complacent and always impudent, deluded by wealth and false prestige, they sometimes proudly perform sacrifices in name only, without following any rules or regulations. Like so many different kinds of pujas that goes on in the present times. It's all actually demoniac without their knowing why they should be doing it. They will do Ganesh puja, but then they will drink during Ganesh puja. They will play Bollywood music during Ganesh puja. It's a party, it's not puja. So that's demonic mentality. Same thing, Durga puja, this puja, that puja. So it's more of a fun, enjoyment, rather than sacrifice, yajna. So that's again because of that demoniac tendency, they convert into sense gratification, the activity of purification. Usha Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thinking themselves all in all, not caring for any authority or scripture, the demonic sometimes perform so-called religious or sacrificial rites. And since they do not believe in any authority, they are very impudent. This is due to illusion caused by accumulating some wealth and false prestige. Sometimes such demons take up the role of preacher, mislead the people, and become known as religious reformers or as incarnations of God. They make a show of performing sacrifices, or they worship the demigods, or manufacture their own God. Common men advertise them as God and worship them, and by the foolish, they are considered advanced in the principles of religion or in the principles of spiritual knowledge. They take the dress of the renounced order of life and engage in all nonsense in that dress. Actually, there are so many restrictions for one who has renounced this world. The demons, however, do not care for such restrictions. They think that whatever path one can create is one's own path. There is no such thing as standard path one has to follow. The word 𝗪𝗵𝗿𝗹, meaning a disregard for the rules and regulations, especially stressed here. These things are always due to ignorance and illusion. Hare Krishna.
Next verse. Ahankaram balam darpam kamam krodham cha samshita. Mamatma parad deheshu pradvishanto bhyasuyakaha. Bewildered by false ego, strength, pride, lust, and anger, the demons become envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and who is situated in their own bodies and in the bodies of others, and blaspheme against the real religion. So they will criticize real religion. They'll blaspheme the Supreme Lord. So Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandvat Pranam. A demonic person, being always against God's supremacy, does not like to believe in the scriptures. He is envious of both the scriptures and the existence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is caused by his so-called prestige and his accumulation of wealth and strength. He does not know that the present life is a preparation for the next life. Not knowing this, he is actually envious of his own self, as well as of others. He commits violence on other bodies and on his own. He does not care for the supreme control of the personality of Godhead because he has no knowledge. Being envious of the scriptures and the supreme personality of Godhead, he puts forward false arguments against the existence of God and denies the scriptural authority. He thinks himself independent and powerful in every action. He thinks that since no one can equal him, his strength, power, or wealth, he can act in any way, and no one can stop him. If he has an enemy who might check the advancement of his sensual activities, he makes plan to cut him down by his own power. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Next section. Now the result of demoniac activities, that's the last section of this chapter. What is the result? The result is Krishna reciprocates in this manner with those people. Tanaham dvishatah kruran samsareshu naradhaman shipami ajasramashubhan asurishveva oyonishu. Krishna says, those who are envious and mischievous, who are the lowest among men, I perpetually cast into the ocean of material existence, into various demoniac species of life, which means they continue to be demoniac birth after birth. Bhakti Mataji.
In this verse, it is clearly indicated that the placing of a particular individual soul in a particular body is the prerogative of the supreme will. The demoniac person may not agree to accept the supremacy of the Lord, and it is a fact that he may act according to his own whims. But his next birth will depend on the decision of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and not on himself. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, it is stated that an individual soul, after his death, is put into the womb of a mother where he gets a particular type of body under the supervision of superior power. Therefore, in the material existence, we find so many species of life, animals, insects, men, and so on. All are arranged by the superior power. They are not accidental. And for the demoniac, it is clearly said here that they are perpetually put into the wombs of demons, and thus they continue to be envious, the lowest of mankind. Such demoniac species of men are held to be always full of lust, always violent and hateful, and always unclean. The many kinds of hunters in the jungle are considered to belong to the demoniac species of life. Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
So here one point may be raised. If the Lord casts the demoniac people into perpetual demoniac lives, who can help such souls to ever become divine?
Pure devotees.
Who, Mataji? Who can help?
Association, Prabhuji, of pure devotees.
Yes. Yes, Vaishnavas can help. Pure devotees can help. No one else can help. And that is the reason those pure devotees of Krishna are very dear to Krishna, because they go to help even these people who are some way rejected by Krishna. No, Krishna doesn't bother about them at all. But pure devotees, because of their compassion, they reach out to such people and help them also. That's the only hope. Otherwise, Krishna is telling very clearly in Bhagavad-gita that he will perpetually cast them into demoniac life. Again and again, they'll be born as demons. And if they're born as demons, see, if someone is born in a nice family, even if that person is a demon, some opportunity is given to practice some good things. But when one is born in a demoniac family, even if you want to be a good person, you'll be forced by everyone around to be a demon. That means it will be so difficult then, so much difficult, then to be a good person in that family or in that culture, in that community, because everyone is like that. So one will be inspired to be like that. One will continue to be like that. Like we see this, those families in which it's very common to drink. Then as the child is born in that family, that child also picks up this habit of drinking. In those families where they eat non-vegetarian food, hardly you find a child who will turn to vegetarianism by himself or herself. Naturally, they also start eating non-vegetarian food. So they get used to doing all the wrong things because of just being born in that family. It becomes a culture. That's their standard. So only devotees can help. Now, next thing, Lord Krishna's reciprocation with the demons seemingly shows that he is devoid of mercy. How is he then all merciful, Lord? Because he puts them again and again into demoniac life. So how is he all merciful? Then is his mercy not conditional then? Is he not being partial?
So that, Prabhuji, that is also part of his mercy, because it results in purification of that soul.
By making that soul a demon again?
Prabhuji, he is still present with them as super soul inside them.
Okay.
Prabhuji is merciful because he is allowing the people to desire what they want.
Okay, correct. Good. So Krishna, he gives them what they want. That's how he's merciful. They don't want his mercy in the form of devotional service. So Krishna allows them to be like that. Right? Krishna allows them. The problem is that they don't want his mercy. If they say, I'm okay, let me have some of Krishna's mercy, Krishna will make that available. In Ramayana, we do hear, right? Lord Ramchandra told to Ravana, he sent a message to Ravana, that Ravana, if you today also give me Sita back, I'll go back. I'll not attack you. If today also you'll return Sita respectfully, I'm okay. I won't march on your land and then kill you, fight with you, kill your soldiers. I will just go back peacefully if you today return Sita. But Ravan did not. So they don't want Krishna's mercy. One should want Krishna's mercy. That's the point. Not that Krishna's mercy is there, so it is going to come naturally. It will come, but one should desire. Krishna is all merciful, yet we should strongly yearn for his mercy. And that comes by prayers. We pray, and we pray that Krishna, please be merciful upon me. Please give your mercy to me. The demons, they don't want that. Why they don't want Krishna's mercy? Because the demons, they never think that they are less than Krishna. They think we are equal to Krishna or we are greater than Krishna. So why do I depend on his mercy? I don't have to depend on his mercy. But a devotee feels always very small in front of Krishna. So a devotee feels, I need mercy. I need help. I need Krishna's favor. So a devotee will always pray. Krishna is all merciful, right? But he should pray for mercy. Next verse. Asurim yonim apanna mula janmani janmani mam aprapyeva kaunteya tato yanti adhamam gatim. Mula janmani janmani, birth after birth. That person remains of mula, fool. Mam aprapyeva, will not attain me. Tato yanti adhamam gatim, will have the lowest kind of life. Lowest kind of life. Adhama will be very, very low born. Attaining repeated birth amongst the species of demoniac life, O son of Kunti, such persons can never approach me. Gradually they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. Srila Prabhupada says, and that is, like he gives an example, like a dog, they become a dog. Dog is considered to be one of the most sinful entities. That's why he's in a dog's body. Forward. Sanjay Prabhu. Unmute.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is known that God is all merciful, but here we find that God is never merciful to the demoniac. It is clearly stated that the demoniac people, life after life, are put into the worms of similar demons and not achieving the mercy of the Supreme Lord. They go down and down, so that at last they achieve bodies like those of cats, dogs, and hogs. It is clearly stated that such demons have practically no chance of receiving the mercy of God at any stage of later life. In the Vedas, also it is stated that such persons gradually sink to become dogs and hogs. It may be then argued in this connection that God should not be advertised as all merciful if he is not merciful to such demons. In answer to this question, in the Vedanta Sutra, we find that the Supreme Lord has no hatred for anyone. The placing of the asuras, the demons, in the lowest status of life is simply another feature of his mercy. Sometimes the asuras are killed by the Supreme Lord, but this killing is also good for them. For in Vedic literature, we find that anyone who is killed by the Supreme Lord becomes liberated. There are instances in history of many asuras, Ravana, Kamsa, Hiranyakashipu, to whom the Lord appeared in various incarnations just to kill them. Therefore, God's mercy is shown to the asuras if they are fortunate enough to be killed by him. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
So now Arjuna says to Krishna, by hearing so much about demoniac nature and what happens to them, people who are demoniac, they may want to change. They may want to give up their demoniac activities and become good people. What should they do if they want to change? So Krishna says, the next verse, Tri vidham narakasyedam dvaram nashanam atmanaha kama krodhas tatha lobhas tasmad etat trayam tyajet. Tri vidham, three, narakasyedam, three gates that lead one to hell. Kamaha, Krodha, Tatha, Lobha. Lust, anger, and greed. So Krishna is saying, if they want to save themselves from going to hell, they should save themselves from entering into the gate of lust, entering into the gate of anger, entering into the gate of greed. And these three qualities, what they do? Dwaram nashanam atmanaha. They destroy our spiritual knowledge. They destroy our knowledge of Bhagavad-gita. They destroy our knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. They destroy our study of the Vedas. They destroy our spiritual qualities. They destroy our spiritual strength. They destroy our spiritual consciousness. They destroy basically ourself, the spirit soul. So these activities are detrimental to one's spiritual health. They may be very good for one's material life, maybe sometimes. But then for spiritual life, they are very detrimental. Very, very detrimental. And these doors, which Krishna said, Dwaram, they are invisible. You don't see them, right? You don't see them. They are not in your sight always. So Krishna is telling every sane man should give up these qualities. And even a divine person should fear these qualities. So I basically help people picturize or visualize this, that let's say you enter a door. As soon as you step in the door, you are in a different place. Sometimes a door makes a lot of difference between what is outside and what is inside. Let's say it's very hot outside, 50 degrees Celsius, and inside you have put on a very nice AC. So as soon as you step in, you are in a different world. Outside, you are so much perspiring, troubled by the heat. And as soon as you get in, wow, I'm in heaven. Just one step, just crossing the door, it made so much of a difference. So much of a difference. Similarly, in life, these doors are there which are invisible. And if we are not careful, we will step in those doors of lust, anger, and greed. And as soon as we step in these doors, from that moment, our life becomes hellish. It's not that these qualities take us to hell after we die. These qualities make you experience hell at that moment itself. Immediately, you are in hell, which means your mind is like that immediately. So one has to be very careful not to step in these gates of lust, anger, and greed. As soon as you succumb to one of them, it makes your life hellish. One has to stay away from these gates. Stay away. So that's the precaution Krishna is telling to take. Stay away from these. Now, it all begins with lust, actually. When lust is not unfulfilled, it becomes anger. When it is fulfilled, it becomes greed. Both of these, they lead to illusion. Anger also leads to illusion because when you are angry, you forget who you are. And in greed also, it leads you to illusion because when you are greedy, then also you forget who you are. It takes you to illusion. And because of that illusion, there is a sense of false pride. False pride, not true pride, false pride, because you are in illusion. So you think yourself of something else and you are very proud of that. And these five then combine to produce the sixth vicious quality, which is called envy. One begins to envy people, envy Krishna, envy everyone else. So this is how these qualities, they They destroy one's life. Gates of lust are invisible. Often you realize only after you step in, as it starts making your life hellish. So Krishna is telling people who are reading Bhagavad-gita, be careful of these three qualities. Be careful of these three qualities: lust, anger, and greed. Don't let them affect you. Don't let them come into your heart. And how do we stay free from them? Suddenly when lust attacks by running away from it? No, cannot do like that. When anger comes, suddenly you will start breathing slowly, take some deep breaths, and then you start laughing, and anger will go away? No, it won't happen. So how do we stay away from these qualities? By every day having a nice sadhana. Then you stay away from these qualities. Good sadhana. It makes you, free. Or even if these qualities attack you, they don't so much affect you. So good sadhana is very important to stay away from these qualities. Good sadhana and knowledge of scriptures. Two things. Let's read the purport. Very small, short purport. Kavita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. The beginning of demoniac life is described herein. One tries to satisfy his lust, and when he cannot, anger and greed arise. A sane man who does not want to glide down to the species of demoniac life must try to give up these three enemies, which can kill the self to such an extent that there will be no possibility of liberation from this material entanglement. Hare Krishna.
Yes, you can even write down in your book that the day you will not have a good chanting, that day you will get more angry than other days. The day you will not have good chanting, your mind will be full of so many unnecessary thoughts and desires. Whenever such thing happen in your life, just observe how was your chanting that day, how was your sadhana that day, and you'll find it is so much directly connected to the quality of your sadhana. The day it was bad sadhana, that day itself you'll get all these things in your mind. They will be more strong those days. And the day you have good sadhana, these things will not affect you so much. But when you don't have good sadhana, then many wrong thoughts will come, wrong desires will come. You'll be more irritated with people, with situations. You'll be more complaining, you'll be more criticizing, more finding faults, more blaming others. Because you are not healthy today. Your immunity system is weak. So easily you fall prey to these attacks. That when sadhana is good, then these things, even if they attack, we don't notice, we don't realize. So that's why this is the solution for staying aloof. Any question here, or it's hand up to read? I think it's hand up to read. Next verse. Etai vimukta kaunteya tamodvare stribhir naraha acharati atmana shreyas tato yati parangatim. The man who has escaped these three gates of hell, O son of Kundi, performs acts conducive to self-realization and thus gradually attains the supreme destination. When a person who is free from these three performs any activity, that activity becomes an activity helpful for spiritual growth. Free from these qualities. That activity is a devotional activity or spiritual activity. But when an activity is performed affected by these three qualities, that activity cannot give us better spiritual life. Not possible. Because these activities, they degrade the mind. They do not upgrade the mind. One has to be free from them to upgrade the mind. Let's read the purpose here. Guru Maya Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. One should be very careful of these three enemies of human life: lust, anger, and greed. The more a person is freed from lust, anger, and greed, the more his existence becomes pure. Then he can follow the rules and regulations enjoined in the Vedic literature. By following the regulative principles of human life, one can gradually raise himself to the platform of spiritual realization. If one is so fortunate by such practice to rise to the platform of Krishna consciousness, then success is guaranteed for him. In the Vedic literature, the ways of action and reaction are prescribed to enable one to come to the stage of purification. The whole method is based on giving up lust, greed, and anger. By cultivating knowledge of this process, one can be elevated to the highest position of self-realization. This self-realization is perfected in devotional service. In that devotional service, the liberation of the conditioned soul is granted. Therefore, according to the Vedic system, there are instituted the four orders of life and the four status of life, called the caste system and the spiritual order system. There are different rules and regulations for different castes or divisions of society. And if a person is able to follow them, he will be automatically raised to the highest platform of spiritual realization. Then he can have liberation without a doubt. Hare Krishna.
So from here, do you get a clue how to remain free from these qualities? In the purpose, Srila Prabhupada gives a clue that if you want to stay aloof from these qualities, do this. What is that?
Perfection in devotional service.
Well, fine, that is one thing. What else? What else?
The rules of the scriptures.
Yes, he mentions that there are so many different rules given in the scriptures. One should observe them, follow them. And as you follow them, you stay away from these qualities or their effects. When you don't follow them, then it's like exposing yourself to the danger. So then you're trapped. And you fall into the trap. Yaha shastra vidimutsrijya vartate kamakarataha na sasiddhim avapnotim na sukham na paramgatim. So one should act in a way that one follows the scriptures. And if one does not follow the scriptures, what will happen? Yaha shastra vidim utsrijya vartate kamakarataha. Acts whimsically, acts the way one likes to act, without really knowing how one should be acting. Just because I like to do this, I do it. Then what happens? Three things. Na siddhim, na sukham, na paramgatim. No perfection, no happiness, no supreme destination. They may get happiness which is temporary, but not real happiness. Not the real sukha. Sukha is in three modes also: goodness, passion, ignorance. So they may get the happiness in ignorance, or they may get the happiness of type passion, but they will not get the happiness of type goodness. Real sukha they will not get. They will get sukha mixed with dukkha, that kind of sukha they will get. But not pure sukha, not pure happiness, that they will not get. So na sukham, na paramgatim, and forget about the supreme destination. They will not get that also. So ya shastra vidhi utsrijya, one who does not follow the scriptures. That's why it's so important to study and know the scriptures, follow them. He who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims, whims means as one likes, attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. Whimsically, acting whimsically. Purport. Rupanshi Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. As described before, the Shastra Vidhi or the direction of the Shastra is given to the different castes and order of human society Everyone is expected to follow these rules and regulations. If one does not follow them and act whimsically according to his lust, greed, and desire, then he never will be perfect in his life. In other words, a man may theoretically know all these things, but if he does not apply them in his own life, then he is known to be known as the lowest of mankind. In the human form of life, a living entity is expected to be sane and to follow the regulation given for elevating his life to the highest platform. But if he does not follow them, then he degrades himself. But even if he accepts the existence of God, if he does not engage himself in the service of the Lord, his attempts are spoiled. Therefore, one should gradually raise himself to the platform of Krishna consciousness and devotional service. It is then and there that he can attain the highest perfectional stage, not otherwise.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Sneha.
Hare Krishna. The word kama karata is very significant. A person who knowingly violates the rules acts in lust. He knows that this is forbidden, but still he acts. This is called acting whimsically. He knows that this should be done, but still he does not do it. Therefore, he is called whimsical. Such persons are destined to be condemned by the Supreme Lord. Such persons cannot have the perfection which is meant for the human life. The human life is especially meant for purifying one's existence, and one who does not follow the rules and regulations cannot purify himself, nor can he attain the real stage of happiness. Thank you.
Kamakarataha. When we come to know, okay, I should not be doing this. If you have read that statement, if you have heard that statement, it is registered in one's mind. I should not be doing this. This is wrong. It's unhealthy. It is destructive. So now once it is registered in your mind, and next time in a situation where you are going to get an opportunity to do that particular activity which you should not be doing, this registered information will spring up in your consciousness. Don't do it because it's mentioned. You read it, you heard it. Don't do it. If you listen to it, then what will happen is that this voice will get more and more stronger next time when that same opportunity is given to you. And not only that, this voice will get stronger, your inner will to not do that activity will also get stronger. But when there is a reminder, don't do it, and you still do it, then next time, this voice, don't do it, will not be as loud as it was before. Now it will become soft. And the will to not do it will also be less. Now, if I don't listen to that voice 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 10 times, 15 times, then after that, this voice will die. Then you will not hear this voice anymore. That is the stage when a person does the wrong, but does not feel even a little bit of guilt of doing it, because this voice is zero. This voice is gone. And that is a very helpless situation, because no voice will come from inside. But if a person listens to that voice, then that voice is going to be very strong every time you are in a dangerous situation. And that voice will guide. And whose voice is this? This is the voice of Paramatma, Super Soul. He will guide. So those people who are very spiritually advanced, they're very alert because they hear this voice every single moment. Very alert. So even for small wrong thing they do, immediately there is a voice from inside. No, it's wrong. Don't do it. And for those who don't listen to this voice, for them this voice seldom speaks. It doesn't come in the conscience. They don't get these messages. So it's all about how we deal with the instructions of scriptures. If we apply them, then the more you apply them, the more you become friends with this voice. And the more you don't apply them, the more this voice will then stop helping you. So this is then that person becomes whimsical. I do whatever I like to do. That kind of person. Next verse, finally, verse number 24. Tasmat shastram pramanam te karya vyavasthitau gyatva shastra vidhanoktam karma kartum 𝗵𝗲. One should therefore understand what is duty and what is not duty by the regulations of the scriptures. Knowing such rules and regulations, one should act so that he may gradually be elevated. Gradually be elevated. But in Kali Yuga, if people just take this gradual path, they will never reach the end. Because in Kali Yuga, age is very short, right? And one's qualities are also not so nice. So in Kali Yuga, one has to take a different path, and that is given in the purport by Srila Prabhupada, last paragraph. The solution, the ultimate solution. So we do have hope. That's the point. We do have hope. Before that, a lesson, then we read this paragraph. Obedience to God and His words is a sign of intelligence. It protects. It protects. Just like a small child, if he follows what the mother says, then that protects the child. Similarly, when the scriptures are obeyed, it protects one. Last paragraph. We'll read this now. Raseshwari Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. In human society, aversion to the principles of understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the cause of all fall downs. That is the greatest offense of human life. Therefore, Maya, the material energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is always giving us trouble in the shape of the threefold miseries. This material energy is constituted of the three modes of material nature. One has to raise himself at least to the mode of goodness before the path to understanding the Supreme Lord can be opened. 6.24. Hare Krishna.
Read this also.
This next para, no, Prabhuji, this is the same, I think.
Continue reading.
Without, you want me to repeat that?
Read what is on the screen.
Yeah, okay. There is some hope. Without raising oneself to the standard of the mode of goodness, one remains in ignorance and passion, which are the cause of demoniac life. Those in the modes of passion and ignorance deride the scriptures, deride the holy man, and deride the proper understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They disobey the instructions of the spiritual master, and they do not care for the regulations of the scriptures. In spite of hearing the glories of devotional service, they are not attracted. 16.24. Hare Krishna.
Few more lines.
Thus, there is some hope. Thus, they manufacture their own way of elevation. These are some of the defects of human society which lead to the demoniac status of life. If, however, one is able to be guided by a proper and bona fide spiritual master who can lead one to the path of elevation to the higher stage, then one's life becomes successful. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Thank you, Mataji. This is the solution being provided at the end. What was that? If one is guided by a bona fide spiritual master, then one can become successful in one's efforts, and one can rise from demoniac nature to divine nature. That's the solution. That's the only hope for people in Kali Yuga. Because in Kali Yuga, people are more of demoniac nature than divine nature. That's the standard. Demoniac qualities are the standard, not the divine qualities. So the only hope for them is this bona fide spiritual master. That's why Srila Prabhupada has done a very, very noble act of starting an institute like ISKCON to help people of this Kali Yuga to practice devotional service and become devotees. Otherwise, there is no hope. There's no hope. Even if they want to change their nature, how will they? They cannot. I mean, to change your nature, you have to change your activities. So do Kali Yuga people know how to perform yajnas? No. Do they know how to worship the deities? No. Can they control their mind? No. Can they control their senses? No. Can they change their habits, lifestyle? Very difficult. So what can they do? They cannot. Very difficult. So the only hope is what? Accepting a bona fide spiritual master, becoming humble in nature, understanding where we come from, and then serving the Supreme Lord with complete humility and sincerity. That's the only hope. That's the only hope. No other hope. Because when it comes to qualities, if Krishna begins to evaluate our qualities and start giving us marks out of 100, we'll only fall in the negative zone, not even 0. We'll only fall in the negative zone, not 0. So forget about positive. So that's why there's no chance. And when we understand this, then we understand why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called the most merciful incarnation. When we understand these things given in Bhagavad-gita, then we understand why Sri Chaitanya is called most merciful incarnation. Mahavadanyaya Avatara, most munificent incarnation of the Supreme Lord. Because why is most merciful? Because he's giving the lowest people the highest thing. That's why he's most merciful. He's not giving the highest people the highest thing. He's giving the lowest people the highest thing. So he's most merciful. Is it because they deserve it? No. Is it because they desire it? No. He just wants to give them. So he's called the most merciful. So that's the only hope actually, for people of this age. Otherwise, so difficult. The person born in this age cannot be a true Brahmana. Person born in this age cannot be a true Kshatriya. Person born in this age cannot be a true Vaishya. Person born in this age can also not be a true Shudra. Person born in this age cannot be a perfect brahmachari. Person born in this age cannot be a perfect grihastha. Person born in this age cannot be a perfect vanaprastha. Person born in this age cannot be a perfect sannyasi. So how will they then make progress? Cannot. So when someone understands it and becomes humble, and then with that humble nature practices the path of Bhakti Yoga as given by Sri Chaitanya, that is the only hope of that for that person then to get the success of going back to God or getting God in this life. Otherwise, there is no chance at all. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, the author of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, says that any person who is intelligent and he somehow or other analyzes the activities and the teachings of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu If that person is really intelligent, that person will come to a conclusion that what Sri Chaitanya is doing is no less than a miracle, chamatkar, making the lowest the highest. That's the miracle that the Lord is doing. He's making unqualified into so much qualified, so qualified. That's the solution given here by Srila Prabhupada, the summary of this chapter. Okay, questions, question time. Guru Mayam Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. In this chapter, we just read that there are different types of hunters, and they are considered as the demonic species of life. So, like, it reminds me of the story of the hunter called Mrigari, and he was fortunate enough to meet Narada Muni. So, do you know, Prabhuji, could you please tell us how he met and what was his past life? Because I could not find any details regarding his past life.
Not mentioned anywhere his past life.
Because he was torturing those animals, and he was so fortunate to get to meet Narada Muni at that point.
Yes. Doesn't need to always have some past life connection, because devotees of Krishna are independent in giving out mercy. So they can give someone mercy even if that person does not have a past credit. Devotees of Krishna can give out mercy. And nowhere it's mentioned about his past life, so we cannot speculate, right? We cannot cook up something. It's not there, nowhere it's mentioned. Anything else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, just something came to my mind regarding the transgender, the class of people, because even the scriptures I have not known, and do they belong to the demonic society, or they belong to the divine one? And is it possible for such people also to get transformed in association with the pure devotees? Do they also have a chance? Because they are never in that particular society, actually. Prabhuji, just came into my mind. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes. Now, there's nothing like if someone is a transgender, then it has to be a demoniac person or it has to be a divine person only. There is no relation of the kind of body you have with the kind of divinity that's in your heart or demoniac tendencies in your heart. One may be having a very nice looking body, but may be very demoniac in nature. And one may have a very ugly body and may be very divine in nature. So what externally the body is, that doesn't decide one's nature. That's only superficial. That's for anyone. I mean, it's not just about transgender. For anyone, externally, whatever the body may be. So for that case, that's why when one is a transgender, can be divine person, can be demoniac. Both possibilities are there. Both options are there. Right? It's not necessary they have to be demoniac. Not necessarily they have to be divine. And how would they get purified? You see, because we are not aware of their society and their community, we don't know that their community is quite big. Also, they stay away from the mainstream society. I mean, they used to. Nowadays, they also freely mix with the mainstream society. But earlier, they used to stay away from the mainstream society. So they also have a big community, and they also have satsang programs and all of that. It's not that they don't have. They also, in fact, you know, in the past times, there are many religious ceremonies in which they would be called to sing bhajans for Krishna, and do many other activities, because they are considered, at least they are considered pure compared to normal human beings, because they remain celibate whole life. So because they remain celibate whole life, they carry some purity because of that also. So it's not that they cannot make progress in spiritual life. They also have opportunities to make progress in spiritual life.
Prabhuji, are they allowed to visit the ISKCON temple? Like, if there are any good happenings in your house, they generally visit your house. So if such people
anyone is allowed to visit.
They can visit a ISKCON temple, and where they can be in in association with the devotees, they can transform themselves.
Anyone can visit ISKCON temple. Okay. There's no bar. We don't ask at the gate, what is your gender? Are you transgender?
Okay.
Right. Have you seen somewhere written a board, transgender is not allowed?
No.
No, right?
Yes.
Anyone can visit.
Thank you, Prabhuji. That's great. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. All right. Even we don't write at the gate, demons not allowed. So even demons can visit. Rajat Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, these qualities have been divided with the three modes. So where do the Vaishnavas come in, and what qualities?
Vaishnava, where does the Vaishnava comes? Yes. It depends on what kind of Vaishnava. Depends on the kind of Vaishnava, right? A pure devotee is beyond the three modes. But when one is not pure yet, then one is within the modes.
Okay.
So even if one is a devotee, practicing devotee, is within the modes. A pure devotee is beyond the modes.
Okay.
Fine.
Yes.
Okay. What kind of karma is organ donation? What kind of karma is organ donation? Okay. It has to be understood from different angles, the subject. But then, basically, honestly speaking, such kind of donations are not really encouraged in scriptures. Because you got your body from the material nature. You think it's your body. It's not your body. It's given to you by Krishna and material nature. So when you die, you have to return the complete package. Not that, okay, from that package, remove something, and then what is left, I burn that away. So a person who donates organs, of course, if that person is pure devotee, then no rules apply to such a person. But if that person is not a pure devotee, and that person is donating one's bodily parts, organs, then that person is adding more karma to one's account. And for that, that person will have to take birth again. That's why scriptures don't encourage such activities. Scriptures say, why you should interfere in someone else's karma? If that person has been so sinful that that person's kidney has failed, why do you want to give your kidney to that person? Nature wants to punish that person and rectify that person, and then you go become a messiah. No, I will help that person. Think about it. Just like, let's take a very simple example. A student did a mistake, and the teacher gave the punishment. Now, who knows better what should be done to the student, the teacher or the friend of that student?
The teacher.
Now the friend will say, no, let me help my student. Let me reduce the punishment. In that way, the friend is not helping the student. He is only spoiling the student because the teacher knows better. So if someone has a sickness or illness, someone's heart failed, someone's kidney failed, someone's this failed or that failed, that is punishment from material nature. That punishment is for a reason. Now, when we become over smart, no, let me help that person, we are interfering in the nature's plan to help that person. Think about it, like, okay, we have contribution to make to the society, but then our contribution, it cannot be as valuable as what Krishna is already planning for that person. It cannot be better than that. Right? That's why these things are not encouraged in scriptures. Not encouraged in scriptures. You are unnecessarily complicating your own karma and that person's karma. So when the body is obtained from material nature, we should return it fully back. 2 eyes, 2 ears, nose, 2 kidneys, not 1 kidney, right? Everything back like that. Complete package. Another example I can give. You got a house, 3 BHK, and then the owner wants it back. And then you say, okay, I'll give you 2 BHK, 1 toilet I will sell to someone else. That's not going to work, Give it back fully. That doesn't belong to you. How can you sell it? How can you give it? Similarly, the body belongs to nature. You give it back fully. Who are you to donate the organs? They don't belong to you. Okay, next question. It seems that Krishna talks a lot more about the demonic than the divine. No, in the whole Bhagavad-gita, Krishna talks more about divine. Only in chapter 16, he talks more about demonic. Isn't it? In chapter 2, we read about divine qualities. In chapter 5, we read about divine qualities. In chapter 12, we read about divine qualities. 13, we read about divine qualities. 16, we read about divine qualities. In 18th, we'll read about divine qualities. Only in chapter 16, Krishna talks more about demonic qualities. Okay, next. What about taking medicine? It's fine to take medicines. Again, we should know what kind of medicines they are. Better not take medicines made of animal products. Use medicines which are not made because of cruelty shown to animals. Use that kind of medicines, not medicines which have so much of animal product in them. Nowadays, they add so many things, and still they'll put the green label. It's vegetarian. Actually, it is not, but they'll put the green label. That's why I don't take allopathy medicine that much. It has been years I have taken allopathy. But I take Ayurvedic medicine, herbs, something like that. Don't go for allopathy. It spoils your system. Same applies to blood donation also. Yes, it does. But then, in some rare situation, if you can really, if that person is, by helping that person, you are giving this world someone who can help this world, help that person. Let's say, you are giving the blood to a devotee of Krishna who will preach Krishna consciousness all over the world. Very nice. You can do that then. But then if you're donating blood to a demon so that the demon will increase demonic activities in the world, then it's not nice. Right? If that person is going to do something good by living more, very good. But if that person is not going to do any good by living more, why? Why live? Why live? Better to die. Right? We discussed this before also, no? Someone is in hospital, every day spending 2 lakhs of money just to keep that person alive. For what? Let that person die, no. Save that money for some good cause. What will that person do even if that person stays alive? Can do much good for this world, already at age 80, can do much, cannot do anything. Let that person die, finish. If that person has to live, Krishna will make that person live. It's because of ignorance we want to, as I said, become over smart and help people. Not needed, not required. Not required. This is not called cruelty. You are just being reasonable, fine, life is over now, finish. Like, let me tell you an incident, how improper understanding leads to simple activities. One girl told this to me. She was a young girl and she started coming to our temple. So her father was having cancer and was going to soon die. They did not have a boy in their family. She was the only child and she was a girl. So then because she started practicing Krishna consciousness, she came to some good sense. So she told, just to save her father from dying, she started prostitution. Just to save her father from dying. Why? Because of not having this knowledge. But what will you do by saving that person? That person's time has come. Why do you engage in wrong activities to save that person? And of course, this is an extreme example, but people do so many wrong things to save someone's life. They will kill others. They will take loans. They will cheat in their business. They will do so many wrong things. To save someone who is going to die anyway, you can only keep that person alive for maybe 2 weeks more, 4 weeks more. So I told her, to stop what is natural, you are going to hell by doing that activity. Ignorance, right? Gross ignorance. Okay, Srinivas Gopal Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, the sloka in the purport of 21 in this one, and then third chapter, Bhagavan saying the kama is krodha. The purports of Prabhupada refers that it is in contact with the material mode of passions, with the interaction with the material world, three gunas. But in this chapter, we come to know it's imbibe, like is built in, like he is born with asura, like that. I'm literally. Can you explain, Prabhuji, a little bit?
So when one is born in a particular body, what is the mode influencing that body? It will be related to that person's nature, no? How there is a confusion here. Lust is born of mode of passion. So do you think a demoniac person will have sattvic mode influencing him? A demoniac person will have rajoguna only influencing him or her. So it's interconnected. Your nature, because of which one engages in demoniac activities. What is that nature? That nature is made up of three modes. So for someone who is engaging in a demoniac activity, that person's nature is made up of rajoguna. That rajoguna inspires demoniac activities. Right? It's interconnected, no? The kind of body you have, the kind of nature you have, the kind of mind you have, which makes you do demoniac activities. What is that made up of? It's made up of rajoguna. So rajoguna is the cause of kama. It's the cause of krodha. It's same. It's interconnected. It's not disconnected from each other. All right. Anit Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, in continuation with the organ donation part, then what happens for cadaver donations? Means when a young person or a healthy person is killed in some accident, and then that person is killed, but the parents or the caregivers, they are the ones who decide that, organ should be donated, where it is required.
Fine, but then again, one should think, that who are they to decide?
So then the karmic reaction is incurred by the people who've taken the decision and not the person who's passed away.
It will come to that person also, because that person is related to those people. No?
But then he had nothing to do in this decision.
But he was born in that family.
Okay.
It's interconnected, no? It's just like, let's say you are a family of few people. So you may not be involved in some of the decision made by your other family members, but will you not be affected by it? You will be, because you are in that family.
The collective karma.
Yes, you will be affected because you're in that family. I mean, it's very simple. Like, let's say a man who is the earning member of the family, he loses the job by making a mistake. Only he will suffer. The others will not. They will also suffer.
And before you came into Krishna consciousness, supposing you've taken certain decisions regarding donation, which you're not aware about these consequences, or that you should not be interfering, then how do you allate that? I mean, how
anything which we have done before coming to Krishna consciousness, regardless of what it is, we don't have to do anything special about it. We just have to practice pure Krishna consciousness and we will become purified. It can be any wrong thing which we have done. It can be any right thing which we have done. Doesn't matter. Krishna consciousness will purify. Pavitram idam uttamam raj vidya rajakulyam. Pavitram. It purifies. Even the most simple of activities is purified by Krishna consciousness.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Bhakta Hasan David Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Your Grace, please accept my humble obeisances. Concerning the donations, I want to ask this question. For instance, if two partners, like a husband and wife, and they are a very pure devotees in the society, they make a lot of impact in the society, help people to become a pure devotee. And for instance, if one of them gets sick and the doctor decide that one has to donate his organ or something so that they can live. So in this case, what should they do?
In that case, they can.
They can do the donation, right? Or
yeah, in that case, they can, because you are helping a devotee, Vaishnava. So then that is the greatest cause.
Okay.
You can in that case.
Okay, thank you so much, because this is something that is, this donation stuff is something that is going on. So this means that you can do it, but you can do it correctly.
You can do it for specific people, because then a higher rule overrules a lower rule.
Okay.
So the highest rule is what? Service to Bhagavan and devotees. That's the highest rule. So for the highest rule, it overrules the lower rules.
Oh, okay.
Just like serving Krishna is the highest rule. So for serving Krishna, if Arjuna has to kill millions of people, go ahead. That overrules the lower rule. What is the lower rule? Don't kill people. That's a lower rule.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. Usha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, in respect of organ donation itself, since the topic came up, like suppose you have already given consent, we had no knowledge. This knowledge came to us today only. So do we withdraw the consent? Because I have already done it, tell you frankly, because you know, this they come and so you get convinced and you have done it. So do you withdraw from that? That's the
Yeah, if you have done it, then how will you withdraw? You'll ask back?
No, the form and all, whatever the agency. So
Okay, you have only done the agreement. You have not donated the organ, right? You have just done the agreement.
Agreement. So at that time, okay, maybe you tell your family members that you don't do it.
Yes. So then you withdraw. You can withdraw. No
I
one
can withdraw. It's
try
only
the case against you because you have committed. You can say, now I've changed my mind.
okay. Okay, we can do. Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
If a non-devotee or devotee donates organ to a pure devotee, does he get his karma? As you said, if donates to a pure devotee, then it's a devotional service. Then it's fine, no problem. Very good. Fortunate soul to donate an organ to a pure devotee of Krishna. So that's nice. I mean, if it helps to save the life of a pure devotee, it's very nice. But how many pure devotees are there? Very less, right? So then, not everyone can donate to a pure devotee. Some people are there who may get a chance. Okay, in that case, maybe. Yes, fine, that's good. Surya Kamataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, as in the starting of the session, we were talking about the Ugra Karma. Now today there is a trend in youngsters that they are doing the jobs in abroad, sitting in their own houses, and they are doing it at night. It is, though it is productive for them, but it can increases their tamoguna. Is it also an ugra karma? We will consider it or not?
Ugra Karma definition we saw, right? Painful, horrible, atrocious activities, right? It's painful, it's horrible, it's atrocious. So now working at night, not sleeping at night, that's painful to one's own system. Of course, once you start doing it, you get a hang of it, and you may not feel that pain, but actually it makes one internally, physically, mentally weaker than before. So it is a distressful activity. So it's Ugra Karma. But nowadays, everyone living in city life, they are engaged in Ugra Karma only because they don't have a peaceful job. They are so much in anxiety, running.
Even in daytime, they are yes.
Like yesterday, I came to Pune. So from Mira Road, I went to Dadar in local train. From Dadar, we had to catch the train to Pune. So it was 5:30 a.m. And when I saw these people coming down from the train, already they are in passion. 5:30 a.m. in the morning. I mean, 5:30 a.m. if you go to village, then a person will, still he's in sleep. Almost in that state, he'll open the door and then come out, take the fresh air, do some walking. That was the peaceful life, village life. And here 5:30 a.m. already started running. Ugra Karma. This is Ugra Karma.
But Prabhuji, a person cannot, work in night shift for too long. However young or old the person may be, the graveyard shift, what we call, I'm coming from that industry. When we have so many people who come to us for interviews saying that, we've been working night shift for the past 2 years or 3 years and we cannot work anymore.
Yeah, because it is very distressful.
Yes, very, very distressful. You can't carry on.
It's not a normal thing. So people, but they do it. It's Ugra Karma, and it's not suggested. You can't do it for life. It makes you crazy. It's Ugra Karma. Doctors doing, I did not know it before. Doctors doing 24-hour shift, 28-hour shift, 30-hour shift, sleeping for just 2 hours, 3 hours, surviving on tea and coffee, that is Ugra Karma. They work so hard, so hard. That's again Ugra Karma. So yes, you have to do long shifts. If you don't, then you'll not be kept in the job, right? Isn't it? You have to do it. It's going to be very distressful. Now, the thing is, you see, as long as we or someone wants to remain a materialistic person whole life, then all these discussions, all these considerations, they are immaterial. You know? But when one begins to pursue spiritual life, then these things become very essential to be followed. Otherwise, we become quite disqualified to make progress in spiritual life because of losing those qualities that we need to practice spiritual life nicely. We'll start losing on those qualities, and we cannot then be a good spiritualist, because you need to have some assets with you to be a spiritualist. You need to have certain qualities. Without that, how can we make those efforts which are required to be a good devotee, a good sadhaka, a good yogi? You know, it's not possible. You need to have those things. When they are lost, they are lost. Then you cannot get them back. You lose the chance then. Okay, last question, Rajat Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, just had a doubt. Like all these advancements which are taking place, development or technology, these are finally getting sanctioned by the Lord. That is why all these things are happening. So
yes, what I understand, what you are saying is correct. I get your point from where you are coming, that these things are sanctioned by the Lord, so they are, so you know why this is wrong. Krishna is sanctioning them because the people in Kali Yuga want that. That's Kali Yuga, you know. So Krishna is sanctioning for demons to behave like demons. But here the point is, do you want to remain a demon? If yes, then fine, go ahead like that. Right? The choice is ours. Krishna sanctioning it doesn't mean that everyone should be doing it. A poison also exists in the market. That doesn't mean that everyone should be having breakfast poison, lunch poison, dinner poison, and then 2 cups of tea with poison. No, poison is there, but that doesn't mean that should become your meal. Right? So there are so many things there which are wrong. They exist. That doesn't mean that we should be doing it. So Krishna is sanctioning it for whom? For who are demons. Go ahead, continue to be like that.
Prabhuji, why this thing was ahead, like advancement in medical technology has taken place. That is why these transplants are taking place. So a person who is also getting the transplant, that is something to do with his karma also, isn't it? Why is he getting the transplant? So he must have done some good karma, maybe. That is why he's getting an organ transplant. Or maybe the God is making him get a extension in life to, you know, get into bhakti or, you know, get some awareness.
No, not necessary.
Can't we look at that way?
Not necessary. I mean, if that person gets into bhakti, that's a different thing. But do you think Krishna will, for bringing someone to bhakti, Krishna will have to make this arrangement? And first of all, you spoil your kidney, then you get a new kidney, and then you come to bhakti. I mean, there's no other way for Krishna to bring people to bhakti. This is the only way Krishna should bring people to bhakti. You are being too optimistic. That's the whole point. Right? You're being too optimistic.
Okay.
If Krishna has to get someone in bhakti, then Krishna can bring someone bhakti in other ways also. Why that person has to go to a transplant to come into bhakti?
Okay.
Right? It's just not, you know, that doesn't make a logical statement. Let's say you go and do a survey in your temple where you are surveying, and then you find that 10 people who were alcoholics before they came to devotional service. So now does it mean we start promoting drinking? Because when you start drinking, then you get into bhakti. No, right? You can't do that, no? that let's promote drinking. The more you drink, the more better devotee you become later. It cannot be. So that's not correct logic. All right. All right. Thank you so much. See you next week, chapter 17.